Hi everyone, I'm Neama Rahmani, former prosecutor, former defense attorney, and I'm here to talk about one of the most controversial issues in our criminal justice system right now. That's abolishing cash bail or bail reform. Our system of cash bail dates back hundreds of years, back to the UK during the time of blood feuds. But today, cash bail is used to ensure that a criminal defendant shows up to court. The main argument against cash bail is that it's a tax on the poor. So if two different people are arrested for the same crime, someone with more money is going to be able to post the bail amount and be free pending trial, while someone that doesn't have the means is going to be stuck in jail. Eliminating cash bail will even the playing field, according to bail reform proponents. Now, there's certainly many arguments against, but let's start with the pro side. People think that cash bail is a regressive system. It penalizes people that don't have money. It also disproportionately affects minorities, and it creates the bail bonds industry. And those are individuals that will put up the bond amount, but they do charge people that can't afford it, usually a fee of about 10% of the bond amount. They also argue that there's a presumption of innocence, and it's unfair to keep people in custody simply because they don't have money until they've been convicted. And they also argue that statistically, there's no evidence that shows that cash bail or keeping people in custody leads to increased safety or decreased crime rates. Now, I'm going to address some of those arguments shortly, but that's why we're seeing a big shift in reducing or even eliminating cash bail in liberal states like California and Illinois. On the other side, there are a lot of people that are against bail reform. There's a perception in this country that crime is on the rise, particularly violent crime and crimes against property. And if you're the victim of a crime and you see someone get arrested and released a short time thereafter, that's a slap in the face to crime victims. And although there is a presumption of innocence, and I understand how criminal defense attorneys and social reform advocates believe that folks shouldn't be incarcerated until they're convicted, the reality is that most people who are arrested are guilty. So I'm going to explain the presumption of innocence. Someone can be caught on camera committing a crime. They can confess to it, also on camera. They would be presumed innocent. Of course, anyone is presumed innocent until they're convicted, but that doesn't mean that they won't be convicted if they push their case to trial. And the reason that this is important is this. As a prosecutor, I could tell you that people are much more likely to plead guilty when they're already in custody. They're accruing time, credits against whatever sentence they're going to receive. When people are out, when they're enjoying freedom, it's very hard for them to surrender and voluntarily plead guilty. And depending on what side you are, some percentage of people will skip bail. And as much as I believe in our law enforcement and criminal justice system, bail bondsmen who have a financial incentive to find those people sometimes will do a better job apprehending people that don't show up to court. Ultimately, I think it's up to judges to decide whether someone should be detained pending trial. And it should be based on risk of flight or danger to the community. And judges need to potentially lower that threshold. Someone's arrested for a violent crime or a sex crime, I think that they're a danger to the community. I think if someone has significant criminal history, they're a danger to the community. If someone has limited ties to the community, I think that they're a risk of flight. So I think judges should be more aggressive in detaining folks, notwithstanding crowding in our jails. Obviously, we have a problem in this country with incarceration, but I don't think catch and release is the answer. I think if you're looking to reform the system, and you look at where bail reform even started, it really started during the pandemic, because you had a lot of people who were in custody waiting trial, but courts were closed. Ultimately, I think providing courts more resources to process cases faster so people aren't waiting months or even years to go to trial, that's a better solution than releasing people into the community, because no matter what, even if the percentage isn't high, some people will commit crimes while out of custody. Some people won't show up to their court dates. That's the reality. If you want to move things faster so people don't languish in jail unnecessarily, give them a quicker trial date. I think that's a better solution, and that's something that I think would be more acceptable to law-abiding citizens and victims than catch and release. Thanks everyone for watching. Obviously, this is something that's both criminal and political, and that we're going to be tracking very closely throughout the country. And always make sure to like, follow, and ring the bell for notifications.